Have you ever seen a lawyer outsmart another lawyer in court? I was a senior vice president at the largest U.S. brokerage. My supervisor breached the confidentiality of my best client, causing irreparable damage to my client and me as well. Not knowing exactly who it was that breached my client's suit, I was not allowed to speak to my client, much less defend myself. This client and his firm was responsible for referring to me the majority of my book of business. Moreover, I had referred to him many clients. Needless to say, this client had the ear of a large portion of my book. I quickly learned how fast he could refer those clients away from me. It wasn't until the depositions that my client learned that I was innocent of any wrongdoing, to the point that he mouthed the words, "I'm sorry," towards the conclusion of my deposition. Regardless, the damage was done. I switched firms specifically to recover my book. With the assistance of this client, I mostly recovered. Before my manager's breach, my losses, financial and otherwise, were huge. My reputation was also damaged by the whole ordeal, so I sued as well. Every attorney that I had hoped to have hired wasn't much interested in challenging a big Wall Street firm's legal team over a possibly expensive and complex case without definitive measurable damages. Moreover, a former employer arbitration case might have too many possible surprises. For reasons soon to be made clear, I was comfortable going into the arbitration process. As the arbitration got underway, the panel warned me to get a lawyer. I replied, "I'm quite fine in that area, Kathy." The big scary Wall Street attorney started asking me some very cutting, poignant, straight for the jugular questions. My initial response was, "I don't want to answer that, Kathy." The attorney asked, "Why not?" I said, "I may not be an attorney, but I know that my answer will not help my case and will help theirs." Kathy laughed. Then, the head of the arbitration panel asked me to answer the questions. My response was the same: my answers won't help my case. I don't want to answer those questions. Then I said to the attorney, "Why are you being so mean and embarrassing me with all these bad questions?" As she quipped, "They're not meant to be nice." The lead arbitrator stopped our banter and echoed her response, saying, "Sir, her questions are not meant to be nice. They're probably going to get worse and more, as you say, embarrassing as we proceed further." Then I responded, "I don't want my attorney to be that mean." After a few more repetitions of who's on first, moments of confusion, I brought it all to a head by saying to the attorney, "Kathy, you are my attorney. Why are you trying to help them?" Kathy quipped, "I am not your attorney. I am their attorney." The lead arbitrator asked me, "What are you talking about?" I then proceeded to pass out numerous copies to every one of the depositions from the previous case involving my former client, where Kathy had represented me. She adamantly assured the panel that she did not represent me, but instead my previous employer. I then called everyone's attention to the numerous notations in the previous depositions where she repeatedly referred to me as my client, as in statements such as, "I'm going to advise my client not to answer that." Another great line such as, "You are bad during my client," etc., etc., etc. She continued to affirm that she was representing my previous employer and not me. The arbitration panel tried to echo her objections, citing that they paid her fees, so I asked, "And where did they get their money?" It was from my commissions, trade spreads fees, and their cut of the commissions generated from my activities. More than 70% of what I did went to pay her salary, meaning I paid her salary. I went on to explain to the panel how I had had a number of closed-door meetings with her to prepare for the suit between my client and the firm, and in those meetings I had poured my heart out to her. I had revealed every hurt, every emotion, and all the damages that I had been experiencing as a result of my manager breaching confidentiality. I confided in her my deepest fears, concerns, and insecurities, and now she was going to use them against me in this arbitration hearing. When she began to react, the arbitration panel said to her, "Kathy, shut up. For the good of your career, we strongly advise that you do not say another word." They then asked for everyone to clear the room. After discussions, I was offered a settlement for exactly what I wanted. I never heard about the case again, though I think Kathy faced some trouble. At times, I would have bouts of guilt over the matter. The idea that a lawyer's career might have been ruined over what amounted to about 2 years' income was daunting. Yet I think of how many good financial advisors' careers were ruined over much less. Moreover, the fact that she was going to use all of those secret conversations I had with her against me made me feel much better about the decision to use my nuclear tactic. Lastly, I stood alone against a team of big Wall Street lawyers, and I won. Perry Mason would have been proud.